Peace. Peace, Islam. Thanks everybody for tuning in. You know how we do. It's Moors in America. We're bringing it live. We're covering issues pertaining to all Moors in America. Y'all hang on 1 second. Go ahead and check this out. I'm gonna do this screen share for you. And you definitely don't want to miss this. All right. This is something that you definitely want to share with the friends and family. Peace.
I just told you to do something. You supposed to still open your mouth and say something else. I thought there's nothing else.
I can just see it too. Okay, cool. Get it to me.
I'm the same type of nigga I just warned you about.
All right, fam. Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a brother on who's going to share some insight from his personal experience dealing with the Moorish consulate and different things like that. For the most part, I've just been on the outside looking in and stuff like that. But like I said, we've got a brother who's actually experienced it. So he can tell you what it is, you know what I'm saying, from his own experience. And I think that's invaluable. So definitely that's something I wanted to share with y'all. And just bear with me. That brother will be on in a few. And we'll go ahead and get things started. Okay, so make sure you don't just watch this. Make sure you also click that share button. Okay, it's really important that you share this so that other people can get this knowledge and information. And so it is not just, you know, a handful of people talking about it, people who may already be aware of this just talking about it. Okay, we got to get that information out there. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the music. You guys enjoy it, and we'll get it started in a few seconds. All right. All right.
Motion detected in the backyard.
That was on Hangouts.
That's it right there. We're gonna send you a video call from his laptop.
Got you.
All right.
All right. Islam.
So many trips up in this good condition. What do you expect when the history's being written? I'm happy to be you with it, more religion. See vision, listen, real life like that. You bring your view, I step on you, this spiritual truth, this spiritual truth. I don't know my spiritual truth. I don't know my spiritual truth. Let's go, don't stop this shit, don't move. Take it from the room, then back to the room, to the more, from move, to the back to the move. Real life, you know, half of the main go true. Do we gotta ask for the main go shoot? Just jump to the floor, let the main go through. We don't go when the police move. Ask them go to the come get through. I'm not here, you know what to do. Can you make that go where they shoot? Real life, real life. So you can go and cheat, and rewind. Let me welcome you to real life. So you can go and cheat, and rewind. Anytime, don't cross that boy. This way the push gets sorted. Just get this boy. This family short. This family short. Outside of the island. Can't hear your boy. Look for me in my kindness. You know I'm treat you black in the morning. You can hear the people calling. Like life is just a prison. And then the city of the just got presentation. The day she takes me home. All this blessings in my God. And I guess you want to pick up on it. Real life. Let me welcome you to so they hit the girl and she hit pose and rewind.
I think rap battles in history season 13 is coming.
It's love, son.
It's
love, son. It's love, son. It's love, son. It's love, son. Peace and greetings. It's love, son. Respect the treaties. It's love, son. Honor my prophet. It's love, son. On my Glock, you pop it. But now listening to the sounds of the real. I spit that move back, my style you can feel. My movement hit me up, and my songs give him chills. He lack knowledge himself, my music help him build. He came home from a big, was always with the shits. Just a little while, homie fell in love with the flicks. With this, that righteous, that conscious vibration of blissful humanity. Out of the bitches, give a fuck about your cars and jewels. You can take it with you when you die. That's the most high rules of feeling even with the gods and ghouls. If you go against the grain, you know you fooled. I meditate under the stars and moon. This is real life. Tighten up. This is no cartoon. It's metaphysical. These rappers is not lyrical. It's too easy for me. You know competition, dude. Turn me up while you ride real slow. Up. Roll it light and let your eyes get low. If you in need of that real, let me know. This dial 1-800 Moorish General. It's love, son. Peace and greetings. It's love, son. Respect the treaties. It's love, son. Honor my prophet. It's love, son. On my Glock, you pop it. It's love, son. Peace and greetings. It's love, son. Respect the treaties. It's love, son. Honor my prophet. It's love, son. On my Glock, you pop it.
All right, all right. Islam, everybody. Still waiting on the guests. Y'all stick around. Like I said, make sure you hit that share button. All right. You may have them call in. Just chill. Bear with me. It's all good. Peace, though. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. Y'all just chill with me. And like I said, if you're watching, please tell me you shared this link on Facebook, on Twitter. I know Instagram doesn't really let you share links, but you need to share it. Share it on Facebook and Twitter and tell people that you know about it. All right. Because we're going to go in today. All right. I already talked to this brother, so I definitely think the info that he has is important. I wouldn't even be bringing it to you if it wasn't. All right. All right. So while I work to get this brother in here, everybody make sure you're sharing this. Okay. How would a Moor rescind his signature? We might talk about that. But make sure you share this, especially if you have questions in the chat. All right, do that favor. Share this. All right. While I work to get the guest on. Okay. All right, so everybody hang tight, chill. How y'all like that music? Y'all feeling that Moorish music? All those artists are Moors, conscious Moors. We got plenty more music too. Anybody out there who's making some hot music, go ahead and send it to me. You can email it to me at bay@mooresinamerica.com. All right. And you know, we might play it on the show, but you got to have some links. You got to have like YouTube page, SoundCloud, you know, Bandcamp, something like that. You got to have that going on. All right. So while we work on this, y'all make sure you clicking the share button. Make sure you're sharing this, all right? Islam, though. Islam, Ty P. Islam, Xavier, Islam, Ronald Williams, L. Peace to everybody, all right? Peace. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, all right? We really appreciate y'all. And once again, like I said before, we don't want to be preaching to the choir. We don't want to just be talking amongst ourselves. Every day, somebody's waking up, starting to think twice about the labels, the things that have been placed upon us. And people, you know, may not know that they're Moors, but they know something's going on. So they're open to the information. And a lot of the information it's out there, you know, it's coming from different sources. It doesn't even really have anything to do with the Moorish Divine and National Movement. And there's so much info out there. Islam, the Moorish World TV. Taharka Bey, y'all make sure you go subscribe to Moorish World TV. And then check out that event Taharka's got coming up, I think on the 20th. I'm going to definitely get my ticket. All right? I'm going to get that. I'm going to cop that. So I think he's doing a live stream. If he's doing a live stream, I'm tuning in. So go to Moorish World TV so you know what I'm talking about. And it looks like our guest is in here, but the mic isn't on. Islam, that's what's up. So hang on 1 second. I got to do one thing first and foremost. We rise, we give praise to the Most High, Father of the universe, Allah. We always give honors to our prophet, our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. We also give honors to the forerunner to the prophet, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. In addition to that, we give honors to E. Millie Ill, our brother, the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Many people don't even know that there was an appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh. You have people out here who are saying that the prophet shut down the temples. They don't even know that he set up a Supreme Grand Sheikh and a Supreme Grand Council before he made the transition. Okay, so we give honors to E. Millie Ill. We also give honors to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh, D. Bailey Ill, as well as all the active Moors inside and outside of the temple. We give honors to the Supreme Grand Council, honors to all the different groups out there, even the people who may or may not consider themselves Moors. We give honors to everybody that's out there that's active, people that's putting in work, people that are sincere. Okay, we give honors to you who are tuning in, because I know you're sharing this video because you know this information is important and it needs to get out there. So we appreciate you. We appreciate Taharka. He's putting in work. I mean, he's going in and saying stuff that a lot of people, you know, I don't know, been, you know, hesitant to speak on or whatever. He's been doing it, and it's necessary, especially in this day and time. So we give honors to Moorish World TV. Y'all tune in, check out what he's doing. We want to give honors to our guests. We have 2 guests on, and we definitely want to give honors to them for coming on sharing their insight and wisdom with us, because like I said, I can speak on what I've seen, but there's been a lot of things that I've just been hanging back. I didn't really check out. I'm just peeping and seeing what other people are going through and speaking on it. But here's brothers with insight, you know, who can share, you know, firsthand experience. So honors to Brother Marrow-Bey and his brother, his blood brother, for coming on here. And then once again, just honors to everybody for tuning in. All right, because that's what we do. We give honors. This is Moors in America, and you know how we do. We coming in live. I'm gonna go ahead and stop for a minute and let my brother come on and introduce himself. And peace, brother. Go ahead and come on.
Peace, family. Brother Alden Joel Marrow-Bey, Providence, Rhode Island. Study group to Temple Number 11, Philadelphia. And I'm here with my brother, Mikhail Abdullah Bey. Islam, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Islam, brother.
Islam. Can you see us? You got video?
No, we don't have video, but we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, all right. So what's going on, brother?
Peace. I'm doing great. Just to hip the family to who you are a little bit. Here's a brother who's in the Facebook group. For those that don't know, you could just join Moors in America. You just type Moors in America on Facebook. You probably come to the page. There's also a group. In the group, you know, everybody shares, and this brother's in there sharing a lot of information. And you know, some of the insight that he had made me hit him on the side, like, "Yo, what's up?" And we were building, you know, probably for like an hour or two while I'm on the road driving, and he's saying some important stuff that I think, like, you know, people have no clue what they're getting into out here, you know. And I just, like, not to talk too much, but like, as far as people who are coming into this information, you know, most people aren't learning about their Moorish nationality from the temples, right? Just being real. Most people are getting it from the streets.
Or from the prophet. Oh yeah. Or all right.
Go
So,
ahead.
all right. Well, I started dabbling into the Redemption Manual, and I started
Years ago.
Yeah, this was years ago. I started dabbling in the Redemption Manual and learning all of this stuff about lodial titles, you know, right to travel. And I actually learned about all of this stuff before I got the knowledge of who I really am, or who we really are as far as Moorish Americans. So we bumped into a brother out here in Providence, Rhode Island, and out here in Rhode Island in this group, and they call themselves Rise of the Moors. And you know, we got into the group. You know, it was good, and it was just, the information just sounded familiar. You know, it just sounded really, 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 really familiar. And I asked the brother who was Brother Jamal, who was leading off the Moors in America. I asked him, have you ever heard of the Redemption Manual? Have you ever heard of the Redemption Manual? I kept asking him, and he was like, no, I never heard of it before. Never heard of it. And I was like, all right, you know, and it just, I don't know, it just came to a head where it was just like people were just getting locked up for this right to travel stuff. And, you know, I was basically telling him, you know, because I was going to be Mufti. They were planning on making me Mufti. So my job was...
Can I pause it right there? Okay, when you're saying you were going to be Mufti, were you a part of an organization? For the people who don't know, like, who are just coming to this.
Brother, I didn't know what a Mufti was. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what... All I knew is I was going to be, like, security. And I was going to be the guy who enforced law. You know what I'm saying, within our community. So I really took it upon myself to tell him, like, you know, you're telling these people to drive, you know, without a license, and telling them, you know, to put these tags, RV Bay and all of this stuff. And it didn't, you know, our brothers and sisters are getting killed on these streets, in these streets for for lesser things than arguing with a law enforcement officer talking about right to travel. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of bothered me because, and to be honest, I didn't know anything about the Moorish Science Temple of America at all. I didn't know anything about the Moorish Science Temple of America. And all I knew was Noble Drew Ali. And I'm thinking Noble Drew Ali was basically into the redemption manual.
We knew his name,
you know what I'm saying? I was thinking this.
We knew his name, not his work.
Yeah, we knew his name, not his work.
Yeah.
So I started talking to other brothers who were into the temple. Give honors to Brother Sharif and Bey. He basically pulled me out of the dark. He basically pulled me out of the dark, and I reached out to the brother. I'm sorry, let me reverse. We seen a video. You were just talking about Brother Tahaka. We seen a video where he had, what's the brother's name? Brother, what's his name? Shalimar.
Okay.
It was Shalimar Bey. He had a video basically exposing the brother about, you know, his past, who he worked for, and he was
smell right.
Yeah, it didn't smell right. The brother came out here. We did the
and he was supposed to be the head of the
consulate.
One of the top,
one of the top guys of the consulate. It just didn't sit right. You know, the whole situation, just right to travel. Then Tahaka Bey pulled his card. But this guy is you know, used to work for the government and stuff like that, and it just didn't sit right with me. So I started questioning a lot of things. I just started questioning stuff. And one day I asked the brother about right to travel, and I said, if one of our people get hurt, we're gonna have a problem, you know, because you're giving this information. And he told me basically that he's giving the information, but he's not telling anybody to use the information.
Yeah. And so you know what, that brother that you were just talking about, I think one of the issues wasn't just that he worked for the government, because a lot of people do, but he was saying that he had like top clearance on Air Force One, you know, something like that.
You're talking about brother Shalimar.
Yeah. Did you actually met these people that you were working with? So you were going to be a mufti, or you were a mufti in the consulate?
No. I didn't have anything to do with the consulate. Okay, go ahead.
See, the consulate was started somewhere, some in a different state or territory, and this was the group that we met up with was supposed to be like a branch off of that. So we only met Shalimar once, and it wasn't like we was dealing with him or associating with him every day. You know what I mean?
Okay, for the people out there, what's your name again? Because you're Marrow-Bey's brother.
My name is Mikhail. Yeah, we're brothers.
Mikhail. Okay. Were you in the consulate, or you know, both of you were just
in the group?
See, like I said, the consulate thing started somewhere else in a different territory. The group down here, Rise of the Moors, was supposed to be a branch off of that.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So
they was getting support.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
They were getting support of other groups around the country. You know what I'm saying? So nobody was actually the consulate. They was just putting it together. You know what I'm saying?
The concept, the people, the positions, stuff like that.
Okay. And continue. You were saying.
I basically told the brother if there was going to be a problem, if one of our people in our group gets harmed because of these teachings, you know, because I told him it wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? So he basically said caveat emptor, and I was like, really? And I used some choice words, you know, in front of his face. So it's not like I really said anything behind his back disrespectful, because I really said it to his face, you know, and it got like a heated discussion. It got into like a heated debate, and basically I left upset because I didn't agree with these brothers doing this right, the travel thing, because of the temperature of what was going on at the moment. Brothers and sisters was getting murdered by law enforcement officers, and you want to argue with a European with low intelligence, and you're spitting straight law to these people, and they have a certain level that they can't go past. And once you pass that level with them, they're just gonna say, "Oh, you're a lawyer," or "You think you're a judge?" You know, they're gonna. It's not. You're not building. You're not doing anything positive anymore. Now it's a battle. You know, and you're gonna end up losing that battle.
And who was it that said caveat emptor when you asked them about, you know,
Brother Jamal that said that to me.
So you asked him what, you know, if somebody gets killed behind this stuff?
Yes, I didn't say killed. I actually said what if you. I kind of referred to that, but you know, I was like, what if I told him, I didn't ask him. I just said if one of our people get hurt, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem because you're telling everybody to do this, and it doesn't work because you're not even driving. We have to pick you up. You have to get rides everywhere.
So it's like, wait, hold up 1 second. So you're saying that the brother's not even driving?
No, you seen the video where they busted his window open?
Right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, he hasn't had a vehicle since then. You know, I mean,
because people out here that don't know, like, I'm not trying to cut you off. People that don't know, they're thinking that these people out here standing on a square, or that everybody's scared to mess with them because
no, not like that. But I'm gonna put it this way: I am not gonna take advice with math from somebody that's flunking it and then trying to give a course in it. You know what I'm saying? And like our Quran says too, you know, don't be the piece of wood that's just pointing. You know, you be the one that's creating the footsteps. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically all of that group. I'm gonna be straight up. That group is the Redemption Manual Moors, man. That's what I call them, the Redemption Manual Moors. They just put Noble Drew Ali's face on it. I have no problem with what they're saying, but the only problem I have is them saying Noble Drew Ali's name. If they just stop using Noble Drew Ali's name and all of their, they're using him as a shield. It's not right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, go ahead and go out there and protest and do that stuff, you know? But yeah, like, because some of them are even saying they're in the Moorish science, but they're not.
I'm going to be honest. I wasn't going to be like, you know, go off like that, but don't believe these people. They're talking about their paperwork. And you know what? You know what kills me with these groups? They just like I said, they're the board that points, you know, because that's all they do. They can't show you things that they've done personally. They can show you only case law where other people have done it. They haven't done it themselves, and they're setting their brothers and sisters up for failure. And there's brothers and sisters out here, they thinking they're fighting a good fight. They get snatched away from their children. They're getting snatched away from their families. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it. I mean, we've been in court. We've been in court, and they said there's cases that they beat. Yeah, okay, yeah, there might have been a case, you know, that was beat, but you know, I don't support it. You know what I'm saying? I don't support it.
Example you were talking about a case. I forgot what you said.
It was the female. The one they won was a younger. I think she was a Latin woman, and she basically frauded an old couple, like stole from an older couple, and they basically beat the case because of the money wasn't gold, or you know, they can't bring the injured party. Something happened where the court, that side slipped up, because if these people wanted you, they can get you.
Yeah.
Regardless, if they wanted you, they could get you. But I don't think the prosecution was actually ready for that type of stuff. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Because when I looked at the case, it wasn't right. You know, she basically stole from an older couple and they beat it. I've seen instances where these Moors have killed people and try to use the same, tell these people that you're European, you have no jurisdiction over me. It's like, what are you doing?
Man, that's horrible. That's horrible right there.
It's like, what are you doing? No, for real. You can look it up and you can see there's cases like that. But we've been in court and none of this stuff works, man. None of it works, man. You know, you might catch the prosecution slipping with some of it, and you might get past the crack, but you know, at the broad end of it, man, it's not gonna happen, and it's just you'll get lucky. You can get lucky.
Yeah.
But most of this stuff doesn't work, man. This right to travel thing is definitely one of, and if that ain't lower self, I don't know what it is. Because like I got into the Quran, well, we got into the Quran and we started learning the difference between your higher and lower self, and you know what the lower self wants and what the higher self also wants. And that's all lower self, that right to travel, arguing with these people.
Yeah.
That, you know, and also didn't the divine constitution say, it's not the divine constitution. Yeah, divine constitution basically states that you're not supposed to put your brother or sister in danger. You're not supposed to put them out there, their head on the chopping block. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it didn't work for you. Like, why are you telling other people to do it?
Yeah, I mean, like most of the officers, you know, they're not straight up race soldiers where they just gonna shoot you in cold blood over this, but you never know.
Right.
You never know. And why even take that chance? Especially if it's just gonna be a speeding ticket or something, you know? And then if like you say, the people who are encouraging people to do this out here, they're not even driving. Like, what are their license suspended or what? Like, I
don't even know.
That's why. Go ahead, brother.
And if the license is suspended, why? You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of people trying to get around some stuff that they rightfully should be in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like you're saying, that is all lower self. I talked about that on a different video. I'm not going to go preaching, you know, because I know everybody's not trying to hear that. But like you said, a lot of that stuff appeals to the lower self, you know, instead of correcting the real issue, which is you know, you're trying to fight it, you know, and things like child support. We could say that these things are, you know, it's wrong, you know, it's illegal what they're doing, and there may be truth to that, but they're preying off of our weakness. You know what I'm saying?
We're emotional people, man. We are the most emotional people on this planet Earth. And all somebody has to say is one thing we don't like, and we're gonna come up in arms. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna yell, scream, we're gonna show all of our emotions. And that's exactly what they're playing on. Because I'm gonna go back to the redemption manual, like I said. All of their teaching. I challenge any of these brothers to show me the difference between the redemption manual, besides the changing of the face or the changing of the people, because the redemption manual was made by Europeans. It was made by Europeans to combat the government of what they felt was corrupt. You know what I'm saying? So I challenge any of these brothers to show me that it's not the same. That what they're doing and saying Noble Drew Ali and going out and doing the Lodio titles and filing all of this paperwork and changing their names illegally. You know what I'm saying? Show me that what you're doing is different from the redemption manual. That's what I want to see. And if it's not, then you need to. I would like to see y'all stop using Noble Drew Ali's name. Period. Period. Just stop doing it. You know, we're all Moors by the description. You know what I'm saying? But we're all not members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So which is the the head of all of this, who started all of this, Noble Drew Ali. You know what I'm saying? And this is who I'm following, who I want to follow. And I'm new to this. I'm new. It's only been 8 months, maybe 8 months, you know, that I'm getting all of this knowledge and all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But when I learned, you know, the higher and lower self, that sold me right there that what we was doing in this group was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because the lower self desires conflict. It desires one. I think some of these brothers want to be pulled over. I think some of these brothers actually want to be pulled over so they can test out their knowledge with these people, and that's dangerous, man. That's dangerous in itself, you know.
Yeah, and it's no support system out here for the people who want to do that either. Like the other people who's encouraging people to do it, it's not like they're taking up funds to get you out or to take care of your family if you get locked up or killed. You know,
no, they just saying you did it wrong.
Did they get anything changed? Were you in Rhode Island? Did they get anything changed, like at a community level, so that the other wars don't have to worry about it? Or is it just
I linked us with the Nation of Islam, with the brothers from the Nation of Islam, right? So even though we had differences of ideologies, you know what I'm saying? That group didn't want to work with the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? So that bothers me, because I felt like we need to work with everybody. We need to work with all of these. If they're Moors, we need to be working with them, even if, like you said, if they don't claim to be Moors. We know who they are. We need to work with these people. And there's a Asiatic brother out here that was running for mayor, and me and my brother here, we did security for him the day he was running with the fezzes and everything, suits. We was following him around, you know what I'm saying, all over the city, you know, and talking to Brother Sharif. He helped me understand what it was really about, how we really take control, and it's through the political, it's through the political, I'm sorry, hold on.
Through position. We got to be in the position to make changes that are going to help our people. If I'm writing the laws that say we have the right to travel, it makes sense for you to put me in a position where I can change those laws, you know?
Right to travel is official. We know a group that's doing it, but they're under the umbrella of Indians. But
can you speak on that? Because you told me something about that I think a lot of people need to hear.
Because if they're doing it and we want to do it, why not link up? Like you said, why not have a community of people doing the same thing? If that's what we want to achieve and that's what they're already doing, why not reach out and let's collect heads? 1 head, 2 heads are better than 1, 4 heads are better than 2, 8 heads are better than 4.
Islam. So we definitely need to have at least, you know, a city council or something, you know, where we can actually start to affect laws and do things like that. And especially for the people out here trying to make these jurisdiction claims, like, okay, well, where are you going to go? Who has jurisdiction over you? But you were saying something earlier about I don't know if it was a tribal leader or someone that you had spoken to about the documents he traveled with. Like, people need to hear this, because they have no.
His name is Raymond Tuhop. You know what I'm saying? And he's a chief out here for the Narragansett. Is it Narragansett? It's the Narragansett Indians in Rhode Island, and he's a young brother too. And we're close friends. We're close friends, and they basically have that on their side. You know what I'm saying? The right to travel, but they also tell you this: drive with your license, right? Just so you don't cause confusion. Exactly. You don't cause confusion that you're doing this, because in all actuality, what if one of these Europeans do pull you over, and they're gonna get jealousy is the number one fuel of racism.
Yeah, especially if you riding clean, looking good, got your stuff together. then they might really be hating.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
You never
So,
know.
Brother was
Might be cool, might not.
He explains to them how he walks in two realms, how he has his tribal name and he has his public name, and right now he's operating in his private capacity, and this is who he is right now, and he's not the only one doing it. There's other people in his tribe doing the exact same thing.
There's merit to a lot of what these brothers say they can do, but they don't understand they're not in the right standing. You know, they don't have
to pull it off.
Right. They need to, and in respects to Brother Jamal, he was actually trying to do what Brother Two Hawks, as far as like a community, and trying to do that. But I think where he was losing me is where he wanted to separate from all of this, from the government, from everybody. To me, that's a cult. That's that's not anything like to start utilizing what you know, the law and all of this stuff, to start passing laws and stuff like that. We couldn't do that as just a group. We can do that within a group, and we could do that within a group and it would count there, but outside of that it wouldn't count. We would be victims of like the law, the actual law, police brutality and stuff like that. You know, with that, nothing would change. You know what I'm saying?
Let me share an example with you of that. Have you ever heard of the Mennonites, like the Amish, right? You know, there's a lot of them out where I live, not in the city, but in Ohio. And so you have these people, and they have their own community, their own religious society, their beliefs, and their freedom to, you know, conduct themselves their way where really nobody can mess with them, and they can do whatever they need to. But then they also know if they're doing business, or like you said, like with the tribal brother, they're traveling, you know, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a license and passport and things they need to, even though if they're going to Canada or Mexico, they don't need passports, but they got their own society. They're not just out here talking, saying we can do this, and it's sustainable what they're doing. But what the other brothers are doing, it's not sustainable. Like if you got a wife and children that you love and protect, you can't be out here riding like that with them. And we riding for the cause. You know, it might pull us over, but I'm gonna stand my square, y'all. Chill, shut the children up. Like, you can't be like that. That's not sustainable. That's not real. And you can't build a nation like that, because the family's the nation. You know, you got to protect them first. So you can't be moving like that. You got to do smarter. And like what the prophet brought, you know, it's like kind of more similar to what I was just saying with them. You know, you're doing it within the structure that we already have, because the way it's set up, we can run things. We can, you know, govern ourselves, because the government is us, you know. And so, I mean, like Detroit is like 80-90% Asiatic. And if we're in the right mindset, we can make it show that and reflect that in government, you know? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, we just got to get more people together, like have blocks and blocks of people who are on the same mindset. It's too far in between. It's too few and spread out. 4 or 5 people trying to push one Asiatic into a position where he can make a difference for us is futile. We need to have hundreds of people pushing that man into where we need him to be, so he can help us with having our community spread wider, as far as being able to police ourselves and take care of our own stuff, you know, our own affairs. We
was in the court, a brother named Tuza. He was part of this group. Mm-hmm. And he got pulled out of his vehicle. I think it was his birthday, and he got basically assaulted by the police. So he was fighting them in court, and we were in court with him. I'm saying we were deep in there, and he faced the judge. We've been in a situation where he faces the judge and tell him, "You can't do nothing to me. You're European," and it's crazy because we got them shook. They were shook.
Mm-hmm.
They were shook, and we thought we basically did something, and we really didn't. We really didn't, because they came back in there. They did what they wanted to. Because if you look, if this court is corrupt, what stops them from doing corrupt things to us? What stops them to doing unfair things to us if it's so corrupt? If you're basically saying that these number one things that these Europeans are cheaters, they'll lie, they'll steal, they'll bury you. You know what I'm saying? Why go in there and think you're going to get justice against these people that way? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, our brother Tusa was fighting these people. It didn't work how he was trying to do it. It was like a year that he was going through this. And we were in court, and the other group was supposed to come. We separated. So the other brothers were on their way, but they got a call that they had to go to mass because one of their brothers got pulled over in jail for driving for driving, with no license, with no plate and stuff like that, how they do. So he had to leave. He couldn't meet up with Brother Tusa to go help this other brother out. So we were standing there, and the prosecutor was another brother. And this other brother, we kind of demonized, you know what I'm saying? Because of his position. He's a prosecutor, he's a brother, he's sending his people to jail, and we was looking at this brother, and this, I'm deep into the Quran.
Yeah.
So I looked at Brother Tusa, I said, Brother Tusa, I said, you know chapter 25? He looked at me, he says, nah. So I said, look, check this out. I showed it to him. And I said, that's our brother right there. Regardless of whatever's going on, he's our brother at the end of the day. Go talk to him. I don't know what made me tell the brother to do it. Yeah. But he went and talked to the prosecutor. They went, and next thing you know, he came over there smiling. They worked out a beautiful deal. He got basically a smack on the wrist for basically a big mix-up that was, it just was crazy, man. He talked to the brother and got everything worked out just like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they talked about, because I told him, just go talk to the brother by yourself. You know what I'm saying? He's a brother, and chapter 25 tells you that's your brother, regardless. And that's how I feel about Brother Jamal and all of these brothers that's doing this other stuff, that they're my brothers regardless. I do not hate any of these brothers. I love them. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just agree to disagree with these brothers. You know what I'm saying? That's the only beautiful way to do it. Because sometimes you do want to go upside one of these brothers' heads, because at the end of the day, you put in our sisters. Because just say my queen, she doesn't follow this stuff, right? She was, basically turned off by the situation that happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what if I was standing my ground with this right to travel, and I got murdered because of it? How would she feel? What would that leave her? What would I have been murdered over? What would I have been murdered for? Would y'all brothers would have ride for me? What would y'all would have done? See, all of these things were going through my head, because I'm one of them brothers that stand on the front line. You know what I'm saying? And I don't move. If I see it coming, I'll still stand there. If it's gonna be good for something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make if I'm gonna make a change some kind of way, then yes, I don't care about my own safety. And that's how I feel about sharing this knowledge of Noble Drew Ali, and sharing the truth about our history. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna speak it, and I'm gonna keep learning, because like I'm a baby in this. You know what I'm saying? So there's things that I'm still fighting my lower self. I'm still battling, which all of us are battling with our lower self every day. But
Islam,
you know how it was when you first came into this lifestyle. It was I
was all over the place. Yeah, because this.
So basically, I'm trying to. I just left this one group that was teaching the total opposite of what I should be learning. You know what I'm saying? So I was in battle, fight mode all the time, I was in court. Listen, I was ready to knock off bailiffs' heads. I was ready to slap cops. No, for real. It's a dangerous mentality to have, because you have brothers out there that's like me that don't care about their own safety. They will do anything to set it off for the cause. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like they're riding for the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And these brothers need to understand that they're not. You're talking about Europeans. You're following Europeans. These teachings are European teachings.
Manual, because somebody put something ignorant in the chat, but you know, like people don't know, you know, for the most part, what the redemption manuals are. So they definitely don't know where the information is coming from. I know there's like 7 or 8 of them. Can you tell a little bit about that, since you've actually, you know,
so there's 5 books, and I'm gonna tell you that nobody can tell you there's a grasp on the redemption manual, because it's a rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it's like 30 rabbit holes above land. So you already know what it looks like underneath. You know what I'm saying? So they start with the movie The Wizard of Oz. And then they break down that has something to do with the government and, you know, the tyranny, you know, and all of this. It's cool. It sounds good. You know what I'm saying? And there is, I'm not gonna lie, there is some truth to a lot of it that is being spoken. I'm not gonna discredit any of that stuff as all falsehood, because it's not. There's a lot of truth to that information, but it's how these brothers operate within it is not the right way. But I'm sorry, I lost.
No, right.
No, it makes sense.
I'm sorry. So my brother's reading through the comments right now. What we say?
Yeah, I was just looking at him. Just wanted to address some of these late ones real quick. It was saying Marrow-Bey does not represent the Muslims, and the consulate.
Oh, he doesn't. He does it.
The
right.
Consulate isn't right. I believe they blew up right now, and the Moorish American consulate is not part of any temple.
It's not.
Which makes it bogus. It's not part of any temple, but that doesn't make it bogus. Whatever anybody is. Whatever they do is what they do. You know what I mean? You can't say that somebody, what they're doing is bogus. It's whatever. It's what they're doing. You know what I mean? But it's definitely not part of a temple. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. They might be getting sucked into a bad place where they could be in these positions where they could lose their family for a couple of months or maybe worse. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing around. There's nowhere to find out about a temple or a group of people once you know that you're not black, Negro, colored, or all the other stuff. You know what I mean? So you see people that understand this stuff. You already know you understand this stuff. Let me go see what's up. What you don't know that it's not part of a temple and it's not what you're supposed to be. What Charlie would have been back in. You know what I mean? Is
because we were lucky.
What you're doing, you know?
We were lucky because we knew the redemption. We knew these tactics. We knew about the paperwork. We were lucky. We were lucky because we knew about this stuff and we knew it wasn't right. And it wasn't. And to be honest with you, the stuff isn't for us. It's not for us.
Right.
It's for Europeans. It's for Europeans because they're actually the citizens. So,
and can I say something real quick? Because one of the people, I don't know if he actually wrote the redemption manual or if he's helped start this, I guess you could say, movement. But he had like farmland. He was a European dude. I forgot his name. He had farmland here in the United States, and they took it from him for some reason. Like maybe he wasn't paying all his taxes, and that spurred the action to start pushing back. Like, well, y'all, we don't have to pay you taxes anyway, So there's truth in a lot of that, but at the same time, if you're not in the capacity to really do anything about it or change it, you know what I'm saying? It's pointless. And a lot of those guys, especially ones that were riding hard, because a lot of them stopped. A lot of them were racist. They like preppers. They were preparing for the end, preparing for the race war. They weren't cool, and they definitely weren't trying to empower us. That was for them to pass to each other. And then it's like we kind of got it towards the tail end, maybe like the late 70s, 80s. Different Moors started coming upon it. Then with the internet, it's like became the face.
Right.
When it has nothing to do really with the movement.
Man, I think, honestly, these people that come into this, I don't want to say every last one of them, but I would say a very high percentage of people that come into this stuff with this paperwork and all of this stuff are people who are down or are tired of working so hard. They feel like slaves, you know what I'm saying? They're looking for a way out, you know what I'm saying?
Or they're in trouble.
Or they're in trouble, exactly, because there's brothers that I've seen come left and right into this movement because they got cases.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of these brothers that came into this movement and can attest to it, maybe in the message board, that they came in their self because of that. You know what I'm saying? And ended up learning the truth about Noble Drew Ali, higher, lower self, and that, man. I know it's simple, higher, lower self. I know that's a simple to a lot of people. Man, that touched me and my heart. So, I mean, I can't even describe it. How I felt when I understood. Yo, there's no devil. There is no. This is you that's doing this. This is you that controls the bad stuff you do and the good stuff. You know what you should be doing. I shouldn't, somebody shouldn't have to be telling you. It's either you're saying, forget it, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Or no, I'm going to fight against these urges and not do this because it's not right. You know what I'm saying? And that helped me out. Those little words helped me out. And reading this book helped me out a lot to understand, like I was saying earlier, that what we was doing was dead wrong. It wasn't right, because this book speaks against everything those brothers speak about. Everything these brothers speak about paperwork, fighting these Europeans, it has nothing. Exactly. Islam, brother.
Letting them know what you're talking about.
Yes. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that basically helped me right there. And brother,
a lot of them don't even know that.
Brother Sharif helped me break this book down. Not all of it, but the very important pieces where my eyes became open to what the Moorish Science Temple of America and what Redemption Manual Moors are. I'm calling them Redemption Manual Moors.
Hey,
that's what they are, man.
It fits, and I mean, on one degree, I guess my higher self, I should. These are my brothers. We shouldn't be calling them names, but it is what it is, man. I'm not all the way there yet. You got to clown that mess, because people are getting sidetracked, and there's a lot of genuine people coming into this. And I'm telling you, they think that's what being a Moor is. I was just talking to a brother the other day who's older than me. He saw the pendant that opened up a conversation about nationality. He's like, yeah, I'm a Moor. Yeah, I was trying to get the money from a birth certificate, doing yada, yada, yada. It didn't work. And then he stopped messing with it because it turned him off. He's like, forget that Moorish mess. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that has nothing to do with being a Moor. You know what I'm saying? And trying to break it down to him real quick. But it's like, if you got something to lose, if like you got your stuff together a little bit, you got a family to take care of, it's going to turn you off, because you're going to get burned out. You're going to be like, man, nah, I can't be arguing right to travel. I can't be doing all this, And then if you're coming in, because like you say, like you kind of running from something, like, you got cases, you got things, you're not really trying to correct yourself. You just try and make that stuff go away, And so like, that's the problem. And people are thinking it's the face because it's like the loudest voice.
So what I'm not trying to clown them when I call them Redemption Manual Moors. I'll stop calling them Redemption Manual Moors.
Not the people, but that mentality.
I'll stop calling them Redemption Manual Moors when they can prove to me that it's not, if the Redemption Manual isn't where their knowledge comes from. That's when I'll stop calling them Redemption Manual Moors. And when they can prove to me that
I don't see it as a personal attack, though. It's the mentality behind it, man. It has to be put in the proper light, because for the longest, nobody's been doing it. Like you were saying earlier with the Moorish World TV, what he was doing, he's exposing it. Brother Sharif and some of the other brothers out here, maybe sisters too, trying to get the truth out. So for the longest, people didn't even know, like I believe your brother was saying, they don't even know about the Holy Quran. They don't know that we have a constitution. They don't know these things. Oh. And so we got to let them know. And I think that other stuff, not clowning the people, but that mentality, it has to get put in a proper place, because people are thinking that's the face, and they don't know that's strictly the lower self. Right. That's your survival mode, and it's gratifying everything. I mean, the lower self, what do they tell you? The lower self is, is greed, it's envy, it's hatred, it's murderous, slanderous, it's everything, and that's when it's seated. That's when it's running the show. The lower self isn't really the enemy, but your higher self is supposed to be running the show. When you're running the show, it's a servant. It does what it's supposed to do to keep you alive down here. But when it's running the show, it's like y'all ever heard when Rick James was talking about how he had his little kingdom in his household with just drugs, sex, rock and roll, everything heinous going on. He got women tied up in the basement. He had all types of craziness going on. And that's how it is when the lower self running the show. It's messing up everything. It's even killing you, Right. And so that's definitely not what's supposed to be running the show. And so that's what people are coming into the movement kind of like,
I think everybody should call them redemption manual more.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Because at the end of the day, there's the Moorish side. There's the Moors of the Moorish Science Temple of America that represents something totally different from what these other Moors. And they're using if at the end of the day they're using Noble Drew Ali as a shield. That is it. Because nothing they represent is of the Holy Quran or what Noble Drew Ali represent or what the Moorish Science Temple represents. Period. So there needs to be a separation, and somebody needs to let these brothers know that that's what you are. You're a redemption manual Moor. You're not just a Moor. We're not going to leave it like that, because saying Moor, anybody can paint us with a broad brush. You know what I'm saying? Because I've walked into the courthouse and I've talked to people. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna go up there and you're gonna." No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do that, because that's not what it's about. And like you said, it attracts negativity. All of that attracts it. All of that type of work attracts negativity because it is negative work. It's not done in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? There is a way you can do that work in a positive way. There is ways that we all can come together and make that stuff work. But we all have to come together, and we all have to walk, together. We can't do this bickering and fighting. But let's call it it is what it is. It is the redemption manual, and these Moors put a face on it, which is, a quote unquote black face. You know what I'm saying?
But do you guys think this is a genuine like grassroots movement? Because I'm gonna just throw a theory out there. Like I don't think this is really something that's coming from the people. I feel like this is just a distraction put here.
Yes, it is.
Because they know a lot of us are caught up in different situations, and there's ways, like people may be trying to beat child support, maybe having cases, maybe just license suspended for something you did, just different things. And so, you got something here, because there's no reason like a bunch of men should be talking about, yo, we got to go get this dude because his life, he got pulled over. We shouldn't be wasting energy on stuff like that. Like, he need to take care of that so that we can, like, we need to have banks and stuff like that. Like, come on, we need to be doing bigger, better things, right? Making laws and stuff like that. So instead of us getting to that level, working to that level, we wasting energy,
All right, so
petty things.
I'm sorry, brother. I don't mean to cut you. I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
It's long, but I advise all these new brothers that's coming into this is to ask these Moors who saying they're filing these paperwork to show them proof that this stuff works. Don't tell me about this case that worked for this man all the way back then, or don't tell me about this other Moor in this another county or state that you don't even know. You only know on Facebook. Let me know what it's done for you or anybody around us to show me that this stuff works. Nobody can do that. And if they do, they're operating fraudulently. They're not operating correctly. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it all because the first thing they think of is cashing in that birth certificate.
Yeah,
oh, man, that right there in itself lets you know. Because when I was thinking about doing it, I was thinking about it was straight lower self, but I wasn't into the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know, I just got into this knowledge from my cousin. You know, my cousin basically was deep in it, and he authenticated his birth certificate. He did all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it really has no, it really does nothing for you. It's just talk, man. It sounds good, man, but these brothers are the board pointing the direction. They are not the ones that are planting the footsteps in the ground so everybody can follow. Just like the Quran, that left the impression on me in the Quran as well. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what these brothers are doing. They're just pointing the direction. They're not actually saying, look, follow my footsteps and what I'm doing, you know, because this is how you do it. Actually, like Noble Drew Ali did. You know what I'm saying? That's who the footsteps we need to be following, and leave these boards to do what they're doing is disappointing. That we need to go the other direction.
Islam. There's a lot of people watching. I hope you guys are sharing this video. I wanted to say too, because like people shouldn't, like, we don't want to see them sharing videos of them getting pulled over and getting their window busted and arrested. Like, show videos of you riding just like this. The officer's not even messing with you. You know what I'm saying? That shows me that it works. If you can't do that, you know what I'm saying? You need to quit, right?
Right.
But hey,
like I said, I don't want to discredit the information because there is truth to the information. It's just you have to be in the right. You have to be in the right. You have to be in the right. What's the word that I'm looking for?
You have to be in the right position.
You have to be in the right standing. You have to be in the right standing for all of that stuff to work for you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't want to beef with somebody that calls themselves Indians, or I don't want to beef with my brothers and sisters that call themselves, that insist to call themselves black after you tell them what it means. I want to build with these people. I don't care if they call themselves, if you want to call yourself black, cool. I want to show that we're one unit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to show that we're one unit. And that's when we can't be messed with. It's when we're standing as one fist and we're not standing as hands, as I got from one of my brothers in the Nation of Islam, the holding your hand with your digits pointing in the air. Your fingers are easy to be broken. But if you make that fist, if we all come together as a fist, we can't be stopped. Who's going to stop us? We're just gonna damage anything that tries to touch us. You know, so that's what we need to be. We need to unify. You know, redemption manual Moors and the brothers from the Moorish Science Temple of America need to put their differences aside, and we need to come together because there's a greater cause for us to work together in. You know what I'm saying? We need to, you know, if you feel like you can free your brother and sister, let's all come together and let's make it work. Let's stop fighting. There's agents inside. That's one thing I hate hearing. There's agents inside the temple. There's agents within your group that you're operating in. And to tell you to go out and drive without, go ahead and get locked up away from your family and children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how somebody could do that, like, with a straight face and just be cool with encouraging people to do that. Like you got to be cold-hearted. Like, you cold-blooded. You know, you don't care. Like, come on, man. You know, especially I see if they knew they had a plan where something's going to come from this, but there's no plan.
There is no plan.
So how can they do? You know, encouraging people to squat in houses, knowing it works for nobody, for no one. Like, how can they do this? Like, I don't know.
You know, brother, that's might still be in jail. He out. You seen him? Oh, okay.
I was just like, this happens all the time. Like, I keep getting comments and messages, inboxes, and emails from people from this channel and stuff. And like, it was just somebody just talking to me because their fiance or whatever locked up, you know, for trying to go up in a house like that, you know, and they got a baby on the way. And it's like, yo, this is not cool. I mean, like I wouldn't feel good like encouraging like a young Asiatic family to go that route, you know?
Man, some of these brothers don't know, man. And it's sad, man, that they're preying. It's like they're preying on these young brothers, man. I mean, some of these brothers think this is legit work.
Yeah, but I feel where they're coming from. Now, see, like the people coming in, I feel where real, genuine people are coming from. I feel that. I'm coming in with the energy. They're coming in with the energy. You know, I know how it feels. You want to change it. I get that. I understand that, you know, but I don't understand the people standing up here encouraging others to get in these messed up situations because they know there's no plan, you know, and they know it. That's what I'm saying. So if I could ask both of you separately, like a question, what was it, you know, that turned, like, made you start looking at things differently as far as dealing with that group? If there was one event or a series of events.
A lot of the questions were being answered with short, quick. He's an agent. Caveat emptor. We're not ready. We're not ready. It was like you said, there was no end game. There was no end game. We're practicing, and we're practicing with baby steps, wasting our time driving without a license, or like you said, changing your name, and like, what are we doing? What are we getting out of that? And who was doing it? You? Was everybody else doing it? And how's that effective? If you need to have this to do that, or, you know, if not. Like I said, I can't walk life without a license or without ID, and I gotta have that stuff intact to live my life, you know. And when you ask questions about how are we supposed to, what do you think this is, and it's just like short, quick answers like, we're not ready, or you should be able to, or they should just listen. You know what I mean? There's no end game. There was no end game. It was all
just telling you to study more, huh?
Yeah, in the dark. Yeah.
I seen two people try to shame others because you don't know. Like nobody's in the know. So when you're trying to ask, well, what do I do if this happens? What you don't know? Like, it's just like trying to shame people. Like,
yeah,
you know?
they make stuff up as they go along.
Now, this information has been buried behind centuries of written books, knowledge. Nobody's gonna know this in a year, in 2 years, in a decade, in a lifetime. It's gonna take multiple people, multiple heads studying to know all of this shit. So nobody is superior in knowledge-wise in this stuff, if you ask me.
Islam.
We can learn more about it every day and die and still not know it all.
So it was like not really nobody having any answers that kind of turned you off.
No
Right, so
if you get caught doing something and you did it wrong. Oh, he said the wrong thing, or he went about it the wrong way. He didn't tell them who he was, and he didn't say this name. Or the reason why I got out of it, like I said before, is because I knew about the redemption manual already. Mm-hmm. You know, I tried to pay bills with my Social Security. You know, I did all of that crazy stuff, man. I was about to authenticate my birth certificate until I wasn't, you know, I just felt it wasn't right, man. You know, it just my ancestors are on my side, I feel, man, because every time I want to put my finger right in that boiling hot water, you know what I'm saying? It's something snapped from up out of it, you know, and I'm glad that it's just certain things that I paid attention to that's helped save my life or getting me out of certain situations that I shouldn't have been in, you know what I'm saying? So I knew that these brothers were operating under the redemption manual. I knew, I'm gonna say his name, Taj Tariq Bey. They put his face on that. They speak on Taj Tariq Bey. Everything he knows, he's old enough to be part of that group when that knowledge first came into the temple or around Moors. He was around that time. You know what I'm saying? Because it was around the 70s. You know what I'm saying? When that knowledge came around to, you know what I'm saying, to our people, you know, we had access to that knowledge. So I'm glad I knew about that stuff, because I was like, it took me a while to put it together, because how they formulate it, it's slick how they did it, because even if somebody that knows the redemption manual, they can get them, because it's switched up. You know what I'm saying? It's switched up and it's slick and it's deceptive. You know what I'm saying? Because all it is, once you lift it up and say, hold up, man, come on, man. You know, you're not a girl, you a dude wearing a wig, man. You know what I'm saying? You got lipstick on and everything. So you notice the ugly as soon as you notice the Adam's apple. Yo, that is not a pretty girl, man. That is a dude. I'm not trying to go that way.
But yo, that's real. That's real. And I mean, I'm saying, like, everybody watch, like, share this, because Moors need to know, because, like, I'm not gonna put this dude out there or nothing like that. But there was a guy who, I mean, he looked European to me. And like just like a year or two ago, he was just straight pumping that redemption manual stuff, just pumping the whole sovereign citizen thing, like calling it that, you know. And just this year, all of a sudden, he rocking with an Islamic name, wearing a fez sometimes, you know what I'm saying, and pushing the same thing. But he like switching over, because like, okay, the Europeans ain't really rocking with this, but you see some fresh meat over here, all these bright-eyed Moors trying to come into it, you know, and they open to it. So it's crazy, man. You know, it's crazy out here. People really need to know what's going on.
It's a hustle.
He got stuff for you. He got packets and whatever to sell for you, you know?
Man, $10 for paper. Like, man, these dudes be pushing. It's all a hustle, man. This stuff's all a hustle, man.
Yeah.
It's not meant to help free you at all. It's all a hustle. And like I said, it's tainted, man. They took it and they changed it up. It's the redemption manual. You want to speak on Europeans, speak on bad on Europeans. Your foundation is built on European study from the redemption manual. If you want to talk about that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad Noble Drew Ali, you know, gave us something to tell us who we are, to stop all of the confusion, because all of this stuff is confusion. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm a baby at this, and all of the brothers that inbox me, that give me knowledge, you came to me, you know, gave me knowledge. Brother Tahaka Bey, we was upset with him because he put our video out when he was exposing Brother Jamal. And I was front and center on like the video, you know, suited and booted. I was like, what? And we were all agents. See how easy it is to say, oh, these brothers are agents, and for people to run with it,
they just get thrown around.
So we had called Brother Tahaka, me and my brother Macau, and we was letting him know, like, we ain't no agents, man. I don't know who you think you know who you speaking of, and he was telling us, well, who you rocking with, you know what I'm saying? So he was at Brother Shalimar's neck, and that helped us out too. That video helped us out too, because I let my brother Macau know, yo, matter of fact, I was here and we was watching it together, and we were like, what? Yo, hold up, you know.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people were.
So it helped that helped us out a lot too, you know, Brother Tahaka, you know. And I don't understand why, you know, I like Brother Tahaka, you know what I'm saying? He's an outspoken brother, man, and yeah, at first we did not like him at all. We did not like him because he called us agents. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't feeling that at all. You know, we was ready to come to Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And but you know, I love Brother Tahaka. You know, we spoke. You know, we that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? And he's coming from. I had to understand where he was, his foundation, and where he was coming from. Yeah. And I understand why he does what he does and says what he says, because I feel this sort of the same way too.
Yeah. That's why I was about to say
what they're doing, you know. So now it's all perspective. You know, we have to get these brothers to understand it, and that's why we're conversating right now, so these brothers can understand that. Look, this is nothing Noble Drew Ali put together. This is all European work, and it's called the Redemption Manual. You can buy it online if you want to. You know, you can not use Noble Drew Ali as a middleman, because that's what y'all are doing. You're using Noble Drew Ali as a middleman. You're using the Moorish Science Temple of America as a shield. You want to talk about the Moorish Science Temple of America and talk about the agents in it, but y'all are using that as a shield with y'all dirty work, you know, and that's the truth. You know, and any of these, they can speak over me, because a lot of these brothers have more knowledge than me about all of this, the history, and you know, about UCC and all of this stuff. They have all of that knowledge, but guess what? It leads to nothing. It leads to nowhere. Tell me what your end game is. You have none. You have no end game, because your knowledge and the knowledge and the base of your knowledge has no end game.
Can you hop in the car and just drive around, take your girl, drive down to Miami, and just chill and just drive and be happy driving? No, somebody got to drive you around. Like,
yeah,
somebody chauffeur you around.
These brothers, I'm telling you, it's crazy. These brothers, some of these brothers, the new ones, not the old ones that realize they've been pulled over a couple of times and man, this don't work.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And man, you want me to be honest with you, man? Some of these brothers got their license for real, man, and they're acting like they're driving in that capacity. Not, man. And that's the fact.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna say no names, but there's some big dudes out there that got their license. They got their driver's license.
Yeah.
And they're telling everybody.
They telling you that it's an instrument that denotes the slavery or something like that.
So who's the agent? Who is the agent? Is the agent the person that tells their brother to go drive without a license, knowing they can get their head bust open by a police officer? Knowing, are you the agent? Are you the agent now that you're telling your brother to do something that can possibly get him, took him from this earth or locked up away from his family? Who's the real agent?
Yeah, that's unscrupulous, man. It's despicable. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible. You know, I hope people are listening, like, to what you say, because that makes no sense, man. I don't see how they could do it. Like, those are devils. You know, like what Farrakhan and them, they call them black devils. You know, in the name of Islam, you know, those are black devils. They're not.
I'll give any of them $500. $500. Show me the difference. But if they can show me the difference between the Redemption Manual and what they are doing right now, anyone, $500. If they can show me that this is not where their teachings came from, and it's from Europeans. Wake up. They need to wake up, man, and stop using emotion and be rational about things and start to think and use their brains. You know what I'm saying? What it's really meant for. Stop fighting so much and sit down and just calm yourself, man. When you're all in this anger, you're in your lower self. You're not going to think in your higher self. You're going to be upset. You know, I've been there. I deal with that. And now I know it. And I can come to that and say, you know what? That wasn't right. And I'm not going to make that same mistake again. And I'm not going to be slipped up like that. These brothers don't think like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if they did, they would be off the path of right to travel, would knock their right to travel right out the door.
Islam. We about to wrap things up, but I want to thank you for coming on here, both of you. And you know, I think it's really important. I'm pretty sure that people are just like hardcore. They just trying to get over, you know, in some way, be some cases. You know, they know better, even if they don't really know about the prophet and the, you know, what he really brought. They're not trying to do that, and they know they're not trying to do that. But there's more people who aren't that far hardcore, you know, to the left, and they just getting into this because they think that's what Moorish nationality is about.
Right.
You know, and they might be trying to get over somehow too, but that's not the main thing. They, like everybody else, all of us, they waking up, and so like they can hear this message, and it can, you know, it can sink in. Okay, and that's why it's important that we do talk about this, you know. And so I'm glad that y'all came on. I want to give honors to both of you and thank you for coming on. Is there anything else that you wanted to say in closing?
Yeah, more importantly, for the people listening, or if they find this video later and they do start waking up and want to come into more people knowing that they're not Black, colored, Negro, where would they go? What would they do? How would they go about that?
All right. Was that a question to me, or were you about to answer?
Yeah, that was a question to you.
Okay. All right.
What would you suggest?
Okay. My suggestion is to find the Moorish Science Temple of America. I would say go to mstofa.net. There's several different websites for temples out there. I'm not knocking one temple over another one. I'm not even with any of that mess. You know, right. Just get into a temple, because if they're following the prophet, you know, you can get the message and you can get the teachings. You don't have to worry about, is this Grand Sheik right? Is this one right? And whatever. You don't have to worry about any of that, because you don't have to, you know, bow down to them and worship them. You get the message and build it. You know, you can read it and get it. Make it a part of your life, okay? Because if you're living by this, you're going to be good. Being a Moorish American is not supposed to make your life harder. Being a Moorish American is not supposed to make you're a slave, you got a driver's license. It's not supposed to make it where now you got to be arguing and doing this stuff and doing all that and going to court and going to jail, prison. No, it's supposed to make your life easier. If you really get the teachings from the Quran, the science of the mind, you're supposed to start becoming more successful. If you're not as prosperous as you want to be, you know, your personal relationships and things like that supposed to improve. Your health, everything that you need. And on top of that, if you're in the temple, you're congregating with other Moors, you can start to build the businesses and do the things that we need to do, because the temple's not where it's supposed to be at. But it's time. It's time. All right. And that's why we're waking up. Heed the call. Come on into the temple. Get the teachings, because people are out there. And if they read the Divine Constitution, they would know that all this stuff that everybody's talking about is against what the prophet brought.
Islam.
If they don't have a plan, he had the divine plan for all ages, you know, and it works. Very intelligent people in law, people all over the world can look at this and tell that it's the real deal.
Man, we need some of these brothers that's doing that other stuff, man, to come on this side over here, man. Not even come over this side to work together.
Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of those brothers too, they don't know, you know, they don't know. I think there's a lot of people who don't know. They don't know this isn't what the prophet brought, because like you said, there's some people who are standing out front who may not be sincere and genuine. You know, we're not calling them agents. They just redemption Moors, man, because they're pushing it. And they're not telling these people, well, you know, technically what the prophet brought has nothing to do with this. Matter of fact, it's against this. We're not supposed to be out here causing confusion. We're not supposed to be out here making our lives more difficult so that we can't be prosperous. We're supposed to be doing business. We're supposed to be increasing what we have and moving as a unit. They're telling you to abstain from society when we're supposed to be taking part in it. We're supposed to be in the city councils. You don't have to quit your job if you're a principal or a teacher. You're supposed to be in that position. We're supposed to start being on the school boards so that we can make our own education plans and things like this. We're supposed to be doing these things and taking over. The prophet was taking over, you know? That's what we're supposed to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, people don't know this. So I think, like you were saying, a lot of the brothers and sisters that are going that route don't know. I'm gonna give the benefit of a doubt. I think the majority of the people just don't know. And then you have some who are like, because most of us ain't that far gone and we just living this foul, savage life. You know, if you that hardcore with it, you ain't trying to do right anyway. Most of us, like, we waking up, you might not be perfect, so some of this stuff appeals to you, you know, but you're not that far gone that you can't see the light. You know, so I think most of us just need to see the light, and that stuff needs to get put in the proper perspective. And I think it's just now starting to happen, like you were saying with Moorish World TV. Props to him for doing that, and to the other brothers and sisters out there telling the truth, because like the voice for the temple has been like this. And it's just now starting to get, you know, for the most part, it's been on some hush hush, like quiet. People didn't even know. They didn't know. So if this is the only way that people was finding out about it. It was like, yeah, you can beat them cases. You know,
I told Brother Sharif, I talked to Brother Sharif, and we talked for a while, man. And he knows what kind of brother I am, man. And I told him, man, if I believe in something, man, I'm gonna stand up, or someone, I'm gonna stand up with him. You know, I've been jumped by like 5, 6 people against, you know, 2 people. You know, just because I'm a stand-up person, and that's how everybody should be if they believe in something. But like you said, there's some brothers that really believe in this stuff. But if there's not a temple in your area, there's a study group. You could join a study group. You just got to reach out to these brothers, man. They're not superhuman. They're not superheroes, man. Reach out to these brothers, you know, and they'll give you the information of what you need to know. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's not a temple in your area, you could get discouraged. You know what I'm saying? You can get discouraged because it's hard. It's hard without a temple in your area because you got to do a lot of this on your own. You know, so you know, I felt like I was by myself and kind of fell off the path a little bit. You know, and actually my queen is the one that told me we need to get back into these teachings.
Yeah.
Because I was at peace and she wasn't and she wasn't following it like I was following it. You know what I'm saying? But I guess, you know, not having a temple around you is discouraging. But there's a lot of brothers you could reach out to, and you could start a study group within your area, and you can get the real knowledge.
Islam, and then with the internet too, you know, a lot of temples, all the temples need to be doing this, but a lot of temples, you know, that have like you know, online classes, you know, so at least like once or twice a week, you know, Sunday, Friday, you could build, you know. And I mean, like with the internet now, there's no excuse because you can reach out to people and build. And even though you knew it is better to have somebody physically, you know, where you at, you know, you can reach out and build. And maybe you become that study group, or that, you know, you eventually open a temple where you're at. But that's where it's at right now. Like, we building it. So definitely you need to reach out to the temple. I put the link for the mstofa.net in there. If there's no temple near you, just contact the home office in Chicago and join. I would say go on and get in there and definitely get the Prophet's material, read it, because it's necessary. The brothers talked about the higher and lower self, and that's one of the main things like that we need to understand and get it, because like what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought is profound. We control our reality, and it's told to you there. You know, that's the ultimate truth, that we always control our reality. We're not victims, no matter how harsh things seem. Okay, we're powerful. You know, everybody is. And if you feel like a victim, then your reality is going to show that. You know, you're going to find more and more things coming at you that you're powerless over. So it's like we had a power. So people need to get those teachings. And also, you know, just in there, it tells you how to conduct yourself so that you know what's real and what's not. So then when you're on the internet or on the streets and you know, seeing all this other stuff masquerading as Moorish American, you know that it's not the way to go. Right. So that's why I'm saying, like, you need to know. All right. Everybody needs to have that divine constitution. I was looking for mine around here somewhere. Everybody needs to have that stuff. OK, and know it and live by it, because that, in all honesty, is what makes you a Moorish American. This is really important. I need to say this because I hear a lot of ignorant stuff. Some people will even say like they act like the Prophet's outdated, you know, and the people who are teaching them won't even say that, but they're saying it. Okay, right. Now listen, the reason why we're Moorish Americans, okay, is because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Egyptian adept, came back. He tied us back into our ancient ancestors. He deemed us Moorish Americans. He established the religious society which we can go into and proclaim our nationality as Moorish Americans. Okay, and by conducting yourself by the customs and culture that we have, the Constitution, the laws, and everything that we have. That's what makes you a Moorish American. All right. You know, if you're not abiding by this stuff and doing it, you know, if you out here getting high and, you know, beating on your, you know, women or whatever you're doing crazy out there, you know what I'm saying? You're not exemplifying it. Other people are looking at you like, oh, that's a Moorish American. So you have to exemplify it. You have to know what it is and practice it. And like the brothers were saying, you got to be around other Moors too. You know, maybe even it's been in a little bit longer than you so that you can get it too and step it up, because we're supposed to be noble. You know, with the whole black thing, they got put on as Negro. You know, they put us in the subhuman status, right? The way they refer to us, get that Negro a beast or in the image of God book, which you find in all these different law libraries where they talk about us like beasts. And we actually conduct and carry ourselves like that in a lot of ways. You know, we call our women, you know, the B word, you know, that's the female dog, right? You know, we out here siring children. They talked about us in that book like that, like we sired children, like we weren't having, you know, procreating. We just siring children left and right. And that's how they talked about us. And that's how a lot of us are out here acting like beasts. So we have to become Moorish Americans. You have to step up, be noble, know how to conduct and carry yourself, right? And it's very important, because just the paperwork ain't good enough if you're still out here acting like a savage. You know, if you about that savage life, you're not about the noble life. They don't mix, right? They can't mix, because one is the higher self and the other is the lower self. So people got to step it up. It's very important. All right. Can't skip that part. You got to be a Moorish American for real. All right. It's not just the bloodline. It's how you conduct and carry yourself, your character, all of that. It all comes into play. And especially as far as the society that was established by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. What other people established like 2-3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, carries no weight. It's not even recognized, and it will never mean anything, you know? Right. And that's legally, lawfully, whatever they want to say. It doesn't carry any weight. You know, I didn't make these rules up. That's how it is. All right. But that's it with my rant. That's all I had to say about that. I just want to thank y'all again for coming on. Feel free to hit me up if there's ever anything you want to say or share with the family. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on. If y'all have any parting words, go ahead, and we're gonna go ahead and shut things down. Everybody, make sure y'all click share.
Oh no, we're good. We're good. We might jump in on later on, Andy, just for us to get a show.
Cool. So thank you for sharing all that information. Thank you everybody for coming on here. On that note, we out. Peace, Islam, peace and love to everybody out there.
Islam.
Islam.